Oh, I already hit record. Hey, just making another short video while I'm working here today. Still working on the same knife I was working on it. Some knives take me a week, some take me a month. It just depends on what it is. But yeah, so I'm working on the top edge of the cutting point. They call it a false edge. At the top, it makes for easier piercing of tougher materials. And you can choose to either sharpen them all the way or just leave just a slight flat on top. Or I've even seen some people put notches or serrations in that little front part. But I want to turn this so you can see what the heck I'm talking about. Oh, gotta loosen that screw. We're going down. Going down the can. Let's see. Yeah, you can see that right there, can't you? A little closer. I don't know if it'll help or not. There you go. You see that? Yeah, so what I've done is just taken a marker and just covered the top in black, and then I'm doing a step down. It's not developed yet, but it'll look kind of cool to have like your false edge, and it'll come out and do a little thing. And, just for look. So, let's show you what I'm doing. I'm gonna start like this. That's 90 degrees. This is 45 degrees, and for a false edge, that's usually about what I hit. Let's see it pop up here. I've already got it started, but I just put the marker on it so you can see it in contrast. So, there's my 45. And I'm just looking at the center of the tip, the top of the blade as I'm doing this, because I want it symmetrical, the same on both sides. I have done an extreme clip point where I just take one side. Usually if you're right-handed, it would be the left side, the inner side, but I put a little curve in that, and it's on one side I'll just sharpen that thing just from the bottom right to the top, and that thing right there, if you flip it around and hook it on a string or a rope, it's done. I mean, you just reach out and go pop. Pretty nice. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just going to work on this here. You can keep watching for a while until I get tired. I just recently figured out how to upload my Facebook videos and stuff to YouTube, and this YouTube stuff is all new to me. I'm an old timer, Heck, I'm a knife maker, but you don't see all these big, what looks like a machine shop to me. I mean, I'm basically working here on a sawhorse and a piece of OSB, and by the graces of Carrie letting me put dust on the floor in here. But I always vacuum. So. Anyway, here we go. You can focus on this or meditate or go get a sandwich. I just think the false edge looks good. It gives the blade a little bit more aggressive stance, if you're into that kind of thing, which, being a military person, aggression has saved me. Quick, decisive aggression, not slow, calculating aggression. Spur of the moment decision. You don't have time to weigh the options often. First bullet moves that's pretty much all you can focus on. There's enough information. Okay, I think it's about to where I wanted as far as the symmetry and what I have left on the top. So it is a false edge. It's not going to be a full true edge. Alright, I'll take this off of here and I'll hold it up closer. Let me see what I'm talking about. Got some micarta in today. Whenever I get mail, I always think of the Blues Clues song. Here comes the mail that never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail, and when it comes, I want to wail. Mail! I've always thought like Blues Clues when I was little. So. Okay, so it's still ugly, so don't judge me, but here's my little drop notch. This, like I said, this will be more increased and it will have a decorative thing to it. And here's my false edge from the side. And here's it from the top. If I can turn it, you can just, you see that barely thin dark line up the center. And then my bevels come down evenly on both sides. And it looks fairly straight to me. What do you think? Probably the next thing I want to do on this is get out some sandpaper and start working this top spine for, you know, some of the one of the last things I do is the file work on the top. Unless I'm going to do a differential heat treat, in which if I did that, it might be a little difficult to file that afterwards. I mean, it can be filed. It'll be softer than file, but it'll still be difficult. So I prefer to do that when it's annealed on a big project, especially on a thicker steel. This is about 3/16. You go up to a quarter, and that's a lot of meat. It's like this over here. You can see the difference. This is 3/16 thick, and that's, or this is 3/16, and this is a quarter. You can see what the difference is. Yeah, that thing's thick. It's a beast. I don't use great big knives like that very often. That one's mostly for show. So yeah, so I'm just going to continue working on this. Let's see what I do next. Here we go. It's a 120. This is my, well, this is a piece of tobacco stick. I make knife handles out of them too, but all of us around here grew up, you know, working for our dads and grandpas and uncles, cutting tobacco, stripping it and hanging it. You know, it was a big job back in the day. It took the whole communities to get it done. But that's all gone, you know, for obvious reasons, but that was kind of like the golden era for a lot of farmers around here, and then when they started, Philip Morris started doing the buyout, I think it was. You know, most of them were cattle farmers and livestock farmers anyway, so they just had to come up with another cash crop. Since they couldn't grow tobacco anymore, well, they figured out, well, hemp grows great here, you know, and it's great for the textile industry and, you know, all kinds of stuff. You know, you can make just about anything out of hemp fiber. But, you know, for reasons, I got shot down. But I just miss those days. Tobacco. By the way, I never smoked cigarettes in my life. Most of my family did, and I guess from being around them so much when I was younger, I just can't even stand the smell of cigarette smoke. It's just not something I ever. I like the way it smelled right before it was cured up in the barn. It had kind of a peppery, like a spice smell to it. I guess it depends on what type of tobacco it was too, and what they may have burnt on the barn floor to aid in drying it. Most old timers use coke, which is a purified form of burning coal, called coke, and it won't release as many harmful gases and stuff up into the burley as it's drying. So anyway, this is 120 grit. I haven't decided if I'm going to put a mirror finish on this. Together pretty good. I'll have to work on that. I've got to show you a cool little set of files I ordered a while back. Comes in this little case. I think it was $10 on Amazon, but this whole side is the steel files, and you've got a pointed flat, and they also have teeth on the sides. This is a triangle. I've got a square, a thin flat, and a round, and then all these are the diamond equivalent of those. So on certain things, you can't really use this diamond on steel like this. It just, I'll show you what it does. It just kind of, that's almost smooth now. I mean, just a few strokes and it's gone. These are better for, the only thing I can think they're good for is fingernails. Make them pretty, like mine. Mine are always pretty. Okay, so anyway, these are really handy. I'm going to start with a square right here, and get that angle nice and square, and I may take it down until the top of this file is even with that. That way it'll have this depth to it. Sometimes that bothers me. Do that. Light over a little bit. Get off camera. Why would you do that? You stay over there. Alright. It's haunted, I don't know. As you can see, I'm just going, indexing it against that. And I want to keep it, you don't want to do an angle like that or like that. I just want to keep it straight for now. Oh, and just so you know, the proper way to use a file is one forward stroke at a time. That means the cutting edge going against the surface. That's how you do a file. But this is how I do a file. We call that getting a double lick. Wears out your file faster, but like I said, I think it was $10 for that entire set. So, I could buy a new set for every knife I make, and I'd still come out ahead. So most of my cost is eat up in just the shop expendables, and we all have, you got the blue paper shop towels, you've got the sandpaper. Oh, that's one thing I was going to test some of you guys. Maybe you all have a 1x30 belt grinder. I've got one of those. I've had one forever, but as I get older, I get further and further away from loud noises, and that thing is just too loud for me. I mean, a drill press, that's about as loud as I want to go. Even my hacksaw is too loud for me. But, what was I saying? Oh, excuse me. I didn't get any sleep again last night. Surprise, surprise. What was I talking about? Oh, how I was firing. Yeah, so I'm just going to square this off. What happens when you get old, folks? I don't want to dig a hole down in there. I want to kind of keep it coming back out even. It'll look better. If you have something like this, or I mean, I did this on purpose, but say you accidentally, I don't know, you're up here and you accidentally did that, and you put a big notch in the side. Well, what are you going to do? Sand down the whole thing? Well, you could do that. Or you could incorporate it into some spine work with some fancy filing, and I'll show you some of that as I go along with different videos and stuff. I was always mystified with the file work on the spines and even the guards and stuff. And I thought, man, that looks so cool. And once I started doing it, I was like, this isn't hard. All you need is a measuring stick or a tape ruler, and you just mark out where you want what and keep track of what goes on what side, and a little set like this will do the trick for you. It'll make just about any shape you want up and down through here. But like I said, I do suggest that if you're going to do a lot of spine work, especially on a thicker knife, do it before heat treat. It'll just be easier on your files and your fingers. So. I don't like a lot of sharp angles on my knives. I'm more of a kind of smoothy, groovy kind of guy. I want knives to feel like an extension of your forearm. It's a part of you. It's integrated into your how you use your hands for certain tasks. I mean, that's muscle memory. Every time you grab that knife and do one specific task with it, you're building muscle memory on that task. You know, why are whittlers so good in wood carvers? Because they just keep doing it over and over until they train their hands and their memory to be more consistent. And that only happens through repetition. Oh, that was a big speech, wasn't it? I'm full of it. So anyway, I'm going on about 20 minutes here. I mean, I don't think you want to sit here and watch me file on this all day, but maybe I'll post it after the whole thing's done. Who knows when that's going to be? Because I am slow. But I like my hand tools. I like my little. They're quiet. I like quiet. All right, well, you all. Whoa. My sawhorse must be tired. It's okay, buddy. We'll let you lay down in the stall there. What was I going to say? Oh, I appreciate y'all checking on this video. I know I'm a strange man that does strange things, and I didn't even bother to put my teeth in this morning. So that's what kind of day I've had. So, uneventful. All right. Peace. Click.